Welcome to Creepin' It Real. I am Judah. Let's talk about the new best horror movie of 2025. Now, why do I say new best horror? Because already this year, we've had two other best horror movies of 2025. First, we had Sinners, which rests right now 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then we have Together, which just came out like a week or so ago. Now, they had a trailer out there that was touting it as being 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, now, just like a week and a half later, I think it's at an 86%. We really can't say what the best horror of 2025 is. I think all of us need to step back and not totally believe the hype for these movies. Now, when I did finally watch Sinners, I got to tell you, I didn't feel that it deserved the hype that it was getting. You know, I named off several things that I really liked the movie, but ultimately I didn't care about the characters. And so therefore, for me, giving it a 9 or a 10 or an 8 out of 10 seemed absurd. But I was instantly attacked for having an opinion that didn't go with the masses. Again, with Together, I knew that Rotten Tomatoes rating was going to go down. And to me, the movie was good, but it was not a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was a 6 out of a 10 movie. You know, as of yet, I have not been attacked for that. But, you know, give it some time. Somebody out there is going to hate me simply because I don't love a movie as much as they do. And here we are faced with Weapons, the new best horror of 2025. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at a 97%. It might change by the time you watch this. I feel that by the end of this weekend, that this is going to be in the lower 90s or upper 80s. And by the end of its run, I do not believe that it's going to be in the 90s. It will be somewhere in the 80s. And that's fine. It's fine, okay, guys? It's a okay movie. I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it. Now, I did. I dragged two of my cousins to the theater with me, and I do feel like I wasted their time and money. This movie felt like it dragged on and on. It takes the perspective from 6 different people, and at one point, I'm thinking, when is this movie going to be done? And that's not a good thing, guys. When you start thinking, when is this movie going to be done? It's not a 10 out of a 10 movie. Now, for those of you who went and were super engaged in this, I'm happy for you because there's a lot of good things in this world. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what the joy of having a parent, being a parent is. You know, you're holding your child for the first time. But there is a great experience that I can relate to when you go to a movie and it impacts you in such a way where it makes you examine yourself, the things around you, or it connects to you emotionally. I understand that. And so if you experience that from a certain film and I'm not experiencing that, I'm not telling you that you're stupid. I'm not belittling you. I'm just saying it did not impact me the way that impacted you. Now, I felt that the trailer, which I'm going to play right now, I have it muted, I didn't feel that this trailer represented the movie. I felt the trailer overpromised and the movie underdelivered. I think this was a huge problem with this movie. I went in so excited. I was thrilled. Even though the director's other movie, Barbarians, really didn't land well with me, I wasn't thinking about this. I was thinking more about what the trailer made me feel, what the trailer made me want, and it just didn't deliver. And that's a massive bummer. So I'm telling you that go in with your expectations tempered, okay? I'm not saying that these people who give this a 9 or an 8 out of 10 are stupid. I'm just telling you to temper your expectations because I promise you, when you go to a movie with lowered expectations and it exceeds it, you're going to love it way more than if you have these super high expectations and it doesn't meet it. That is far worse. So lower your expectations. Let them either meet it or exceed it, but do not have high hopes for this movie, okay? It's not a horrible movie. It has some good aspects to it, but it did not deliver what the trailer promised. I will stand on that. For me personally, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Okay? Now, again, I'm not pooping on you people who love this movie. I'm glad you love this movie. But I had high expectations. Okay? Didn't meet them. If anything, just understand that that's where I'm landing at. High expectations, didn't meet them. I mentioned that my cousins were with me. I was probably feeling a little bit of stress from that. Now, one of my cousins, my cousin Ryan, he had seen Longlegs. And when we came out of the cinema, he was like, all this was Longlegs. And as soon as he said that, I was like, you know what? I can definitely see the comparisons there. Now, my other cousin hadn't seen Longlegs, but like later on that night, which by the way, we went and saw this movie at 2:17 in the afternoon. And all of us were like, that's a really odd time. That's a little promotional gimmick because 2:17 is when all the children decided to leave their homes in this movie. So good on them. That's kind of funny that they did that. And we didn't put it together until I said something today. But so my other cousin, he sends me a text later on at night. And he's like, you know what? Ryan's right. I just watched Longlegs and this is Weapons is just Longlegs. And I can see the comparison 100%. The cinematography in Longlegs is so spectacular. The juxtaposition of the framing of scenes and the autism of the FBI agent is superb. Like literally, the framing was more eerie and more horror-esque to me. The balance or lack of balance was so intense. I loved it. But I thought Nicolas Cage, okay, yeah, I mean, this might be a hot take to you, but for me, I felt Nicolas Cage was absurd. And you could be like, well, that's what he's known for. Yes, but all I did was feel like he was playing the same character, but with heavy prosthetics on, heavy makeup. And I thought he was a stupid character. I wasn't like, oh, he was creepy. I was just like, he's stupid. This is stupid. And I felt the ending went way off the rails, of course. This is a review about Weapons. If you want to know what I had to say about Longlegs, you can go check out that review. So I was disappointed by Longlegs, despite the fact that cinematography was fantastic. Now, in Weapons, the cinematography was fine, but I wasn't in love with it like I was with the Longlegs, okay? And the bad guy in Weapons is goofy, for sure. I mean, the appearance is goofy. But I definitely felt more threatened by this bad guy than I did in Longlegs. And so if there was a way to merge Longlegs and Weapons together with each one canceling out the stupidity of the other and just keeping each great aspect from the movie, we would have one perfect, maybe quite potentially the first 10 out of 10 horror movie and definitely the best horror movie of 2025, if that was possible in some kind of alternate Marvel universe. But if it's coming from Marvel, it's probably trash anyway. Okay, shots fired. Sorry to any Marvel fans out there. And this movie gets really goofy towards the end. I'm talking about Weapons. Just like Longlegs suffered in the end, Weapons suffers in the end. I did not feel that Weapons was supposed to be a comedy, but if you look at a lot of reviews, a lot of people think that the tone of the balance between horror and comedy was perfect. And I'm like, what? I didn't think so. If you want to point to perfect comedy horror balance, I think you need to look at Shaun of the Dead or maybe Hot Fuzz. Those are two excellent examples of the perfect balance of horror and comedy. I want to know, what horror movie do you think holds the perfect balance of comedy and horror? Leave that in the comments. Let's talk about it. If I haven't seen these movies, I will definitely give them a try, and I will leave a review here. And if I don't like it as much as you, then you can vote. You can give me a thumbs down. You can leave trashy comments. I support you in that, but I want to know what movies you think are the perfect balance between comedy and horror. But I didn't think Weapons was supposed to be a comedy. But at the end, me and both of my cousins were cracking up at this like chase scene at the end. We were laughing, and there was things that were occurring that I thought were way too overplayed. But there were also some camera movements where I was like, oh, that was a cool camera movement. Not that these kind of movements haven't been done in other movies, but I was just like, ooh, I liked that. That was good. You know what I mean? So this movie is not trash, but the praise, I don't get the praise. I don't think you have to see this movie in the cinema. This would be a perfect movie to find somewhere else randomly, stumble upon it, and then be like, wow, how did I never hear about this movie? That's where this movie belongs, not this overhype. So if you want to go see it, I support you. Go see this movie, but temper your expectations, okay? I'm Judah. This has been Creepin' It Real. Give Weapons 6 out of 10. Let me tell you, if you actually want real, I think, side note, I think Rotten Tomatoes is a trash website. I think it's mostly, it's most visitors are shills or massive haters. So, you have the media out there who's like, oh, it's review bombed. Well, you know what? Review bombing works both ways. You can overpraise it or you can overhate it. And I think that Rotten Tomatoes is the worst or the best example of a place where you see review bombing for good or for bad. For me, I have felt that IMDb, granted there are less reviews on there, it feels more balanced. Now, if you go and check out Weapons on IMDb, it's got a decent rating. I think it's like at maybe an 8 out of 10. I could be wrong. But if you actually look at the reviews, and also what I like about it is you can say, I want to see all the 1-star reviews. I want to see all the 2s, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And there are a lot of 6 out of 10 and lower in there. And these people are talking about, hey, this isn't a bad movie, but these people are giving it a 10 or a 9. They're crazy. What movie are they watching? All the way down to somebody who's like, this was the worst movie ever, and I walked out. Okay? And that's fine, because there are movies I wish I walked out of, like Terrifier. Okay? So it's fine wherever you land on the scale. And there are some people in there that think that this is like the greatest thing ever. Again, the new best horror of 2025. I want to know where you land. Do you think it's a 6 out of 10 where it's like, this is a good movie, but what are these people watching where they think it's a 10 out of 10? Are you the guy who wishes he walked out and thinks he wasted his time and money? I want to know. Leave it in the comments. I can't wait to interact with you. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I give you a gold star. Please like, subscribe, and share if you have any movie suggestions you'd like me to check out and review, potentially poop on so that you can hate me. I would love that. Thanks for watching. See you later.